yeah, why don't we dive right into the topic at hand? And Cameron has sent in a video for us with some late breaking news. So here we go with Cameron.
Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Region Free, as well as the Obnoxious and Anonymous YouTube channel, here with some breaking news, and that is Warner Brothers has come out this morning to make the announcement that their entire theatrical window for 2021 will be premiering on HBO Max here in the States. That means The Matrix 4, Suicide Squad, Dune, and we already know about Wonder Woman 84, but we're talking like 20, 30 movies that would go out to the movie theaters here in the States will be premiering on HBO Max. Now, for me, this is really exciting because it's been only a matter of time before something like this was to happen. And of course, it's going to take something catastrophic like this pandemic to make it happen. Years ago, Magnolia, I believe, tried to do this with Bubble, the Steven Soderbergh film, and theaters balked at that. And then earlier when the pandemic first happened, Universal started dropping Trolls World Tour and a few other things. And, theaters were kind of, I don't know about that. And kind of threatening not to play any of Universal's movies anymore. Well, Warner Brothers has come out and just double, tripled, and quadrupled down and said, you know what? We're going to not just test it out with one movie here, one movie there, make Wonder Woman feel like the odd movie out. We're going to drop it all. So Dune, Matrix, Suicide Squad, Tom and Jerry, it's just going to go on and on and on. Now, apparently, across the globe, where things are better with the pandemic, these movies will be playing in theaters. But here in the States, there might be the odd theater here and there that will play it. But for the most part, it will be playing on HBO Max. So Roku, you need to get on that deal with HBO Max immediately, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of people out there who do not have access to these movies. And another cool thing is that this will not be like extra cost for you if you have HBO Max. So if you are a subscriber to HBO Max, you will have access to these movies day one with no additional cost. So right there, that throws the ball right back to Disney Plus saying, all right, your move. And I'm sure Disney's going to be making a similar move because they don't want to be, showed up by Warner Brothers. Now, what will this do for the movie theaters here in America? I don't know. AMC today just sold $200 million of their stock. So who knows what's going to happen with them. However, there's a lot of people here on the Region Free channel that have gone to a lot of drive-ins lately. So I think things like that are going to continue to perk up. I think horror movies are going to continue to do well on the drive-in circuit. I think there's going to be, little films here and there that kind of pop up. But in terms of like the big films where there's going to be a lot of people going to see it, those movies are coming to HBO Max or their other respective platforms. So who knows what's going to happen in 2022? We can only, look at today. But Warner Brothers just dropped a big whammy on the movie theater industry today. And yeah, so we're going to have a lot of awesome movies coming to your, to your household. So I don't know, to me, I'm excited because while I like going to the movie theaters, I also like the pleasure of seeing movies in my home. So anyway, let me know what you think, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
So yeah, the news broke today that Warner Brothers' entire 2021 slate of movies, they're going to be premiering in theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. So what's everybody's thoughts on that?
I don't want to see any of those movies anyway.
You were just talking about how much you were looking forward to Wonder Woman 84.
I think that realistically, I mean, the big losers out of this are AMC. This is pretty much the death knell for AMC. Because they're going to be starting so far behind the 8 ball with new debt that they need to repay. And they just lost at least 6 tentpoles for the year. So the reality is that this is going to hurt the big players in the exhibition business pretty hard, pretty fast. And for the people who think that that's great and I'll watch everything at home and it's going to be wonderful, just keep in mind that product is produced for the screen it's going to be released on. And you might not be happy exactly with how that works long term.
Anybody else? Thoughts on... I mean, really, I kind of saw this coming. I figured that the release window would be drastically shortened and that a lot of movies would just would premiere simultaneously in theaters and on demand. Here they're premiering more on a streaming service, but still, it definitely does not. It does not bode well for theaters at all. And I don't know. I don't want to see an end to theaters, but I do think that window needs to be shortened a little bit. I don't know. What say you? What do you think, Stingray?
Doesn't Warner Brothers own HBO?
Yes.
So I mean,
I think so.
it's not too big of a stretch that that's going to happen. I'm really not that surprised. I mean, considering, because I mean, these people are constantly, in 2 months we'll be back to normal. In 2 months, 3 months. I mean, hell, how do you predict this stuff?
Yeah.
Like I'm watching a new show on HBO right now that just came out a few months ago. Forget the name of it. It's got Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant in it. But I was telling my wife last night, I was like, I bet they filmed this it was set to release like in February or something, but they held it back because it takes place in New York. They're filming in New York City, so there's no way they've done that, anytime recently. So I don't know.
I feel bad because I think that the movie theater is special, and I don't want to see anything bad happen to it. I don't think that going on a date in your house is the exact same experience as going on a date to the movie theater. It sucks for young kids because I mean, what are they going to do for dates? I mean, you can go out to eat and stuff, but I mean, what putt and stuff like that. Movies were like the main thing, when I was growing up to do. So for me, it's like it's unfathomable to just think that I'm just going to watch movies at my house. I don't like that. I don't mind seeing some at my house, but I do want to go to the theater and want to experience the theater. So I really hope that even though simultaneously they're going to release this stuff, that people will still, say, hey, I want a different experience and go to the theater anyway. I hope.
Stone, you look like you've got something to say.
Jamie, we're going to go back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s when drive-ins were everywhere. That's where kids are going to go.
I like that.
That's where kids are going to go. Look, the end of movie theaters, it won't be the end of movie theaters if drive-ins not only survive but make a comeback. I've said it on a previous episode. Drive-ins need to make a comeback, and now is the perfect time. It makes sense. I mean, you can still go see movies in the theater. We will have that.
Is it going to, because I think there's still going to be a large group of people who want to go to the theater. And a lot of those will probably be, younger people on dates or people who, they want to see if it's, if it's a Marvel movie or if it's like a spectacle kind of movie, they're going to want to watch that on the big screen with the surround sound, yada, yada, yada. But actually, Joshy's Got a Gun makes a very interesting point in the chat. It would make me check out more movies on release. I've actually said that before as well. There were a number of movies this year or earlier this year, what was that Kristen Stewart movie where she's underwater? It was Underwater, right?
Underwater.
Okay. That was a movie that if it was available at the same time of its release to stream, I would have streamed it. So there's a lot of movies that come out theatrically that I'm like, I'll just wait. But if it's being released at the same time, theatrically and VOD, I would watch it on VOD. And maybe by the time, with Underwater, for instance, after all the bad reviews, I may not have watched it at all. You know what I mean? If it's a movie that doesn't get reviewed very well, or that I'm told by people that I trust it's not very good, I'm not going to watch it, period. So, I mean, it may make more money for studios in that sense. Maybe I don't
see it making more money on studios because, again, you're talking about having a single product supplier. So that's a partnership that's going to have to make their portion of it. And if it's done all in-house studios, there's going to be antitrust laws out the gazette. No question about it. But I have two quick thoughts, and I don't want to cut because I know Christian didn't get to speak up on this. But the first thing is there's something more going on here because they could have said 2 weeks after the theatrical release, we'll release the films, right? They'd make the same amount of money through the streaming services they would at the theaters. So there was a decision here to do something. That's the first thing. The second thing is the voices that are going to get lost in this equation are the ones what I call down ballot. And I saw this happen in the music industry too. When the big, horrible record labels were putting out their Metallica and Madonna records that everyone thought were overpriced, and I don't feel guilty about stealing from millionaires, right? The problem was those labels were taking the money, the profit they made off those big acts, and putting them into the small acts who were just coming off the streets and out of garages, out of their parents' garages across the country. The studio system has money in small productions because the big stuff goes out theatrically and has this immense presence on the marketplace. When it hits digital, it doesn't have necessarily any bigger presence than any other film hitting digital at the same day or week or month. The event film is what makes these studios be able to support all the smaller films that they take a chance on in a year. So all the down ballot films are going to suffer in this move. Now, maybe there's a solution to that and I don't see it. So I'm not trying to say I have it all solved or I understand everything, but I am saying it's going into uncharted territories, and we shouldn't worry about how comfortable our couches are if the films we want to see made aren't being made because of this move.
What do you think, Christian?
Somebody mentioned something earlier about HBO is owned by Warner, and I just Googled it. Is that's right, huh? HBO is owned by Warner Brothers?
I think so.
It says it's owned by Warner Media, Warner Communications. I think they're just saying screw it and doing it. I go back to pirating. I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. My honest opinion. I just think they're sick of waiting, and it's the same thing. Somebody said, like, when is COVID going to be over? Well, I think it's just they're like, screw it, let's go for it. But I don't know. I just think they should help. They should try to hold out a little bit longer. If that's what I would do. But again, if it's something that can stream, it can be pirated. So either that or everybody's going to have a very busy 7-day trial and then quit. So go have fun, Warner Brothers. I don't think it's going to turn out as well as they hope it will.
As soon as it hits HBO Max, there will be somebody pirating it. There's no doubt about it. And it will be pirated in glorious HD. Yes, and it will be everywhere. So that's something that they've got to be taking into consideration too. But at this point, it's probably a loss that they're willing to take because it's either a small loss or a big loss. They're already taking big losses. So a small loss instead of a big loss at this point is a gain, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know.
It won't be the end of theaters. It'll be the end of multiplexes. And I'm fine with seeing them go, at least for the most part. Not go away entirely, of course. But I mean, because one of my biggest pet peeves is just people talking on them during a movie, whether it's on their cell phones and treating the theaters as their own living room.
But isn't this
drive-ins would eliminate? Oh, sorry.
No, but isn't this the same conversation we have about physical media all the time? Like, we want our physical media, but the masses have moved away from it. And we scream that we need to find a way to save it. Well, the people who enjoy theaters deserve the same respect we do about physical media. The democracy of how to see these films is important. I don't think we should be so quick to say, well, I think that it'll be better for everyone because it's a better experience. For you, yes. Maybe not for everyone. So I would like to see it all survive. I think a narrower window for VOD with a premium price point makes sense, but I don't think day and date does, because too many families will take the easy way out. These movies will suffer. The distributors will suffer. The only ones that won't suffer are going to be those huge multimedia companies that own the streaming services. And we always talk about how we don't like big media, but here we are kind of like championing their destruction of all the other companies. To me, I think it's better when there's more players on the market. I think the world is better with theaters, physical media, streaming, VOD services, regular television, cable, pair of antenna, rabbit ear antenna on top of the television. I think it's better with all those intact.
Well, I mean, the fact, it's all going to come down to convenience and price. Is it more convenient for me to stay home and watch Wonder Woman 84 than to drag all my kids to the theater? Yes. Is it probably going to be cheaper?
Absolutely.
Yes. And I mean that's the same issue that physical media is having too. But I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, price and convenience are gonna win out. So I don't know. For me, it would make it possible to see more movies first run, but the movies that I want to go see in the theater, I'm still going to go see in the theater because there's nothing else like that experience.
Right.
But the Underwaters of the world, I'd probably just watch them on the VOD service.
You could
You know
just
what I mean?
skip underwater altogether.
Absolutely.
That might
I
be-
support that more than anything. But the other thing to keep in mind is once a film hits VOD on the first day it's available anywhere, or HBO Max on the day it's available anywhere, there's no incentive to put out physical media ever again.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
We're not just
Right.
losing theaters. We're
Yeah.
losing it all. It's just going to be just streams probably within 2 years of this starting if the other studios follow suit.
Mhm.
Right now, Warner's is saying this is a 1-year experiment. It's everything on the 2021 schedule. But they're not looking to do this beyond it. But guess what? If it's successful, they will.
Well, but see, and here's the flip side of that coin. Let's say in March or April, here's this vaccine, and people are getting vaccinated, and the numbers are going down, and everybody's like, ready to get out and just go and reclaim their lives prior to COVID-19. They're going to drop this. Warner Brothers is going to say, screw this HBO Plus crap. You're going to the theaters to watch everything, and it's going to stay in the theater for as long as possible. So if there is some sort of breakthrough, they'll pull away from that immediately, I'm sure.
HBO is doing the unfortunate act of thinking that people will do the right thing and pay for stuff. Let me tell you guys something. We live in a really bad world. People want everything for free. We live as if there is no tomorrow. We will pirate. We will steal. We will get it for free if it's possible. We are human beings. We're not perfect. So there's going to be a lot of pirating. You may as well put on your patches and get your hooks because there's going to be pirates everywhere when these movies comes out.
Pirating will be
Well, at least the
normal.
quality will be better. Quality will be better. It won't be like a shaky camera with some dude eating popcorn in the background.
And listen, I don't condone piracy in any way, but if you are going to pirate, you will need a good VPN to hide your ISP. And I have a great VPN deal. If you go to surfshark.deals/Pizzal and use promo code Pizzal, that's the best deal on a VPN on the market. But again, I do not condone pirating. But if you're going to pirate, surfshark.deals/Pizzal, use code Pizzal.
It's so clear that Piz is going to turn state's evidence on all you people. It's so clear.
That's a great deal, Piz.
It is a great deal.
If I was HBO, I would get rid of the 7-day. When these movies start hitting, I would make no 7-day trial. No 7-day trial, and I would drop the price by a couple bucks a month. And you might get some decent human beings to sign up. You might, but
I mean, I'm already subscribed to
I doubt
HBO. It's $15 a month, man. It's pretty pricey.
It is. I have it too. It's not too bad though. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff that you can't find in other places. I thought some of the stuff they have is pretty interesting, and like Haxon, I was totally like, what? That's pretty awesome. But
They've added a lot of odd stuff. Like they've got a lot of animated stuff. Like all the Adult Swim stuff is on there now, which is cool. If you're into that stuff.
So what's the big stuff coming out? They've got it's action movies, right? And like superhero movies that are coming out. That
a lot of superhero movies that
the Conjuring movies.
The Conjuring movies. Yep, we're talking movies that would be potentially big, big grossers.
When it comes
let's
to
look
when it comes to superhero movies, my bad. When it comes to superhero movies, it's just dial 1-800. I don't care. So they can have those.
yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I'm sick and tired of the superhero movies, to be honest.
So here's a list of, let me share the screen here. Here's a list of all of the movies coming out that are scheduled to come out in 2020 from Warner. You've got the new Suicide Squad. You've got The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. You've got Mortal Kombat. The Matrix 4, Black Adam starring The Rock. You've got the Dune movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Where did Kong versus Godzilla?
Son of a bitch.
I mean, you've got some big movies there. Space Jam: A New Legacy, Sherlock Holmes 3. Some of these may just need to go straight to streaming. Actually, let's see. You've got a new Elvis movie coming out in 2021.
Oh man, I can't wait to not watch any of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of these may just need to go straight to whatever. I didn't even. Oh, that's because Wonder Woman 84 is actually coming out on Christmas.